Amidst the stark, gray-toned streets of a city caught in the throes of the Great Depression, the world moved with a weary, defeated rhythm. Long, winding lines of people, their hopes as thin as their worn-out clothes, snaked around corners, each soul a testament to the era's crushing weight. Among them stood a man, a simple figure we'll call the observer, his face etched with the quiet gravity of the times. Dressed in a plain shirt, trousers, and a flat cap pulled low, he was just another face in the crowd, one more stickman in an endless tableau of hardship, waiting for a handout that might never come. The brick facades of the surrounding buildings loomed like silent, indifferent witnesses to their collective struggle. As the line shuffled forward with agonizing slowness, the observer's gaze drifted from the faces of his fellow sufferers. His eyes caught on a figure standing apart, an anomaly in the sea of destitution. Leaning against a distant wall was a tall, slender man cloaked in shadow, impeccably dressed in a dark suit and a fedora that cast his face in complete darkness. This was no ordinary citizen. He was a shadow agent, exuding an aura of calm authority that was starkly out of place. He wasn't waiting for anything. He was watching, a sentinel overlooking a game only he understood. A spark of curiosity, a rare flicker in the prevailing gloom, ignited within the observer. He had to know more. Stepping out of the line, a small act of rebellion against the prescribed order of his day, the observer began to follow. He kept a safe distance, melting into the labyrinthine alleys that crisscrossed the city like scars. The shadow agent moved with an effortless grace, a phantom gliding through the urban decay. Down a narrow passage, a heated argument erupted between two desperate men over a dropped coin, their voices sharp with hunger and rage. Just as fists were about to fly, the shadow agent made his move. He didn't speak a word. A simple, almost imperceptible gesture, a slight nod, a subtle wave of his hand, was all it took. The men froze, their anger deflating as if pricked by an unseen pin. They looked at each other, confused, then stooped to pick up the coin together, their conflict inexplicably resolved. The shadow agent continued on his way, leaving the observer behind, his mind reeling with questions. The pursuit led them deeper into a forgotten part of the city, to an old, nondescript building that bore no name or number. It was a structure meant to be overlooked, a place that held its secrets tightly within its decaying brick walls. The shadow agent slipped inside without a sound, and after a moment's hesitation, the observer followed, his heart pounding a nervous rhythm against his ribs. He crept down a dimly lit hallway, guided by the low hum of voices. Peeking through a crack in a heavy wooden door, he saw a sight that froze him in place. In a vast, smoke-filled room, a group of shadow agents, all identical in their dark suits and obscured faces, were gathered around a massive table. Spread across it was a detailed map of the city. They moved small, carved pieces across its surface, their actions deliberate and precise, like chess masters directing the pieces of a grand, city-wide game. They were not merely observing the city's events, they were controlling them. A cold wave of understanding washed over the observer. He pulled back from the door, his breath catching in his throat, and slipped away as silently as he had come. He re-emerged onto the crowded street, the sounds of the city now hitting him with a different meaning. The faces in the crowd, the rumbling of the streetcars, the distant cries of newspaper boys, it all felt different, orchestrated. He was back where he started, just another man on a busy street, but everything had changed. He was no longer just a victim of circumstance. Now, as his eyes scanned the faces around him, they held a new, knowing seriousness. He was aware of the hidden hands pulling the strings, the unseen power playing with their lives. The world was not as chaotic as it seemed. It was a stage, and he had just glimpsed the directors in the shadows.